All right, we're doing the podcast for real now. We were already doing it to start here, but it's definitely experts. We're going into week 2 here, number 81, whatever. Anyways, like we were talking about, Thursday Night Football last night, we had both the backs went off for Cleveland. Both Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb was over 100 and 2 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt had like 86 yards, most of that in the second half there with a touchdown on the ground in the second half, and then caught a touchdown. So big nights from both those dudes, and also OBJ had a big night, and you played none of those guys in Dynasty.
Yeah, fuck me. Well, all right. So, like I was explaining to Sam before we went live here, I put Odell Beckham in my lineup, and he burned me week 1. Obviously, the Browns were a bag of ass on week 1. So, like I was telling Sam, what I like to do with my people when they burn me is I like to put them in my flex spot to let them know that they're in the hot seat. And then sometimes I'll even put them on the bench for most of the week, and then I'll put them in my lineup last minute so I can teach them a lesson. And so this time what I did was I benched Odell Beckham and I actually put Kareem Hunt in for a little while. And then as the week went on, it was like I realized they were playing on Thursday, like all 3 of these dudes. And so it was like, shit, I got to make a decision here. It was like, you know what, Connor? AJ Green had 9 targets week 1. Joe Burrow's going to hit him for a score in this game. Denzel Ward, he doesn't match up. So like him, Boyd, and whatever, John Ross, I guess. Like there's a lot of dudes on there for the Browns to cover. Joe Mixon, him as well. So I was like, you know what? I think AJ Green is he's gonna bounce back this week, and he didn't do terrible week 1, but he had 9 targets, so it's like looking at that target share, it's like AJ Green is he's gonna go off in this matchup. I think I gotta play him,
and with so the number of targets he got last night, you would have thought so.
Yeah, bitch, you thought
13 targets, but only 3 receptions for 29 yards.
Yeah, fuck me.
Is that the most? I'm sure there's probably more, but this is probably one, if not the most egregious, deltas in terms of receptions versus targets.
Yeah, it's like there was all kinds of articles coming out that he's like one of only 4 receivers since like maybe 95. I don't know. I'm just pulling that number out of my head, but there were only like 4 receivers in the last like 20 or 30 years that had done this, and like I think the last one was like Terrell Owens, who had 3 for 13 and like 156 yards or something, like some stupid silly stat.
What are you talking about? Is that the Randy Moss game from Thanksgiving all those years back against the Cowboys?
Terrell Owens?
Well, yeah, no, but Randy Moss, I don't remember what the Randy Moss's official stat line was. You know what game I'm talking about? It was that Thanksgiving game when he was playing on the Vikings all those years back. And he had 3 receptions for 150 some odd yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. The one that's always in like the docu-whatevers.
That's a famous whatever NFL game.
Him coming out and showing up.
Is that not what you're talking about, or are you actually talking about T.O.?
I'm actually talking about T.O. But
okay, never mind.
Yeah,
carry on.
I know what you're talking about too. Yeah, so apparently this has happened only like a handful of times in the last like few decades, and so fucking-tastic. I was a part of history last night playing AJ Green.
Did you win week 1? No, you lost week 1 in this Dynasty League.
Oh yeah, my lineups in this one and in our tenor league were not very good.
I have Devontae Adams in both leagues, so that pretty much
helps.
Saved me.
It's pretty good.
Also, Robert Woods is good too. Do I have him?
Robert Woods is good.
Anyways, yeah. So you kind of got burned last night. I was on the wrong end here last night with playing Finch in the tenor league. I was on the wrong end of Nick Chubb. He's got him going. Oh, he had OBJ too.
Oh.
And I had Austin Hooper, who went off for 2 receptions for 22 yards. I said how I was going to drop him this week, and I was looking at it, and it's like, well, David Njoku got hurt. Nah, we're going to roll with Hooper here. Kevin Stefanski, I'm watching the game last night. Like, oh, yeah, they're using all these multiple tight end sets, so he's out there. And that's it. He's out there. That's it.
He's out there for sure.
And they were throwing it. They had a couple targets for who's the guy they drafted from Dayton?
Oh, the other tight end.
Yeah, he was getting some. I don't know if he had what he ended up his final stat line ended up being, but he got some targets down the field, kind of working up the seams, and I was like, "What the fuck are we doing here, Austin Hooper? That should be you out there." But yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
Who is that man? Fuck! What did I just look
Troutman?
up? What is?
No, that's the Bears.
No, that's the Saints.
Oh.
Bryant?
Oh yeah, Austin Bryant.
It starts with an H.
Hunter Bryant. Martavius Bryant. No.
Harrison Bryant.
There it is.
There it is.
Oh, he's
All
not.
right.
He's not from Dayton. He's from FAU.
Oh, maybe Adam Troutman. He's from Dayton.
Yeah, Troutman's the Dayton guy. The Bears have him, right?
No, the Saints have
Who do
him.
the Bears have? Oh, they have Cole Kmet.
Oh yeah, they're they're the other team that has the highly ranked tight end from this draft class.
Yeah, all 10 of them.
Yeah, jeez, but I don't know the rest of your. I mean, yeah, that's tough. Odell Beckham, Nick Chubb went off, but so DeAndre Hopkins against Washington, that's trouble. Christian McCaffrey, that's probably against Tampa Bay though. They're the only team last year that held him in check.
Oh, maybe. Hunter Henry, whatever. Curtis Samuel, whatever.
Scotty Miller, baby.
Dude, I almost pulled the trigger and tried to scoop up Scotty Miller. I was surprised he actually did end up clearing waivers and became a true free agent here at the end of the week.
I can't fucking believe that Scotty Miller is getting targets over Mike Evans and fucking Chris Godwin. I know Chris Godwin's out probably this week because he has a concussion, but fuck, dude.
Yeah, this little white slot receiver I've never heard of, and it's like, oh well.
Of course, this is so on brand.
This is yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, fuck, dude. Last week was brutal for fantasy in this league. Can I even go back? Can I go back in time with the web app here?
So week 1. Oh, I was.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So I beat Cheech. So I put up 139 to his 122.
Oh.
Yeah, with getting like nothing out of my running backs. Oh, but he had James Conner. That's why he kind of got shit production out of him because he got hurt in that Monday night game, which was good for me. He got nothing out of Cooper Kupp pretty much. Nothing out of Deontay Johnson from the Steelers. Not a whole lot from James White, and not a whole lot from the defense. I didn't get anything out of my defense either, but yeah, I guess I got lucky here. Also, it helped having Devontae Adams and Calvin Ridley both going off.
Yeah, that helps. Both of those guys had huge games. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do, Pig. That'll do.
Also,
I almost.
I'll just say lastly, getting garbage time Kirk Cousins numbers was very helpful.
Oh yeah, I was gonna. I think that was something I noticed. It was like, damn, like the Vikings scoring these like bullshit touchdowns at the end here, like that Adam Thielen touchdown. It's like that's money.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so far like it. Joe Mixon getting 4.6 points was just a brutal reminder that I drafted this fucker last year and he did this exact same thing.
You did more than 4.6 last. Did you bench him last night?
No.
Oh, you played him.
Yeah, I played him. I gotta roll with him, man. Like I don't really have people to sub in for him at this point. I think I put him. Did I put him in my flex? I think I did.
Oh, you banished him to the flex position.
Oh yeah, I did. I put him in the flex. I was like, Joe, you're going to the flex. I'm putting JT up in the running back 1 spot, so you can look up there and just try to aspire to be back in the spotlight. But until then, you're just a measly flex player.
Yeah, I saw this. Did you see that Reddit thread today on the fantasy football subreddit where it was a Joe Mixon mega thread, and just people were like, "What the fuck? Why is Giovanni Bernard getting carries in the red zone? What is Zach Taylor doing?"
Yeah, I mean that's kind of it. I don't know. He did fine though. 10.6 isn't like that's not really what you want from a dude that you probably drafted pretty high, but like I don't know. I'll take 10.6 over 4.
Yeah. But
So
boy, it'd be nice
and
to get
16 carries and 4 receptions, 4 completions. He completed 4 passes or he caught 4 passes for 40 yards. So like I don't know, sure. But like I mean, really, all you can hope for is that he's getting 15 plus touches a game or 15 carries, 15 plus carries a game, and then the receiving work out of the backfield. 4 passes is awesome. It's just his offensive line is dog shit. So, looking at the upcoming games here, we got Philadelphia. I don't know about that. I don't really know what to think about their team right now. But then Jacksonville at week 4, that should be a plus matchup. Baltimore, yikes. Indianapolis, don't really know what to think about them either. So it's like, it looks like going down the schedule here, it's kind of like even odd here, like every other game. There's like a couple of good ones, like down on the back end here, like he's got Pittsburgh, yikes, but then immediately following that, Washington, New York Giants, and Miami. So it's like, okay, and then Dallas, Pittsburgh is like yikes, but then Houston, okay.
I think that Washington can't put Washington, see that on the schedule and think, yeah, it'll be a cakewalk.
I just like it from the perspective, like they're like right. Obviously, their front 7 is pretty fearsome. I like them more, I guess, like out of the as a pass catcher in that game script. So, I mean, as long as like the Giovanni Bernard stuff also pisses me off because it's like, what are we doing? Why is he even in? But
well, would you rather have James
from
Robinson? I will trade you James Robinson for Joe Mixon. I'll give you some fab. You want a little fab on the side?
No, I don't want a little fab on the side. I don't want to do that trade,
what about if I throw
Sam.
Michael Thomas?
Oh, now we're talking.
I'm not doing that.
Now we're talking, Sam. I was looking at I was looking at Fantasy Pros. So because you were asking stuff about Michael Thomas yesterday, they have an article up that they post of like they basically go through on their webpage the most traded people for the week, and they just like go okay, who who was the most traded and like what should you be looking for basically in these trades and stuff. And I mean, it was basically like, yeah, I don't know what you do here. Just because it's the high ankle sprain, whatever. What do you do with that? I don't know. So they were, anyway, what I'm trying to say is, they were, looking at, they're like, let me just pull it up here. If you roster Thomas and are concerned about your team's immediate future, swap him for any top 10 receiver.
What about a running back? I don't need a top 10 receiver.
They were looking at targeting an RB2, like a strong RB2, a Chris Carson-esque player.
Chris Carson.
You don't like Chris
Carson?
Carson?
I did not like the way they split carries last week.
I don't.
I did not. I kind of forgot about Carlos Hyde. I got lucky in my DFS lineup that Chris Carson got the touchdowns that he did. So he did not get the carries I was expecting.
No, I don't think that happens again, though. That was kind of weird how they flipped the script there on the Russell Wilson show. I imagine it goes a little bit back towards the median. It might so here's what the dudes had to say about this. So there were only 2 games where he got less than 6 carries in 2019, and one of them was when he went out injured. Only 2 games out of 16 games. On the flip side, there was only 1 game where he received more than 5 targets in 2019, and I think he got 6 targets. I'm not totally sure on that. It's something like 5 or 6 in week 1 for 2020 here. And a lot of people also were speculating that the split between him and Hyde might have been because they were trying to figure out how his injury from last year, was going to hold up. So I think my dude comes a little bit back up there from 6. 6 is a little. That's a little low. That's a little low for a team in general, like let alone the Seattle Seahawks.
What do you think about me dangling Michael Thomas out there for Alvin Kamara?
Good luck.
I think old Calvin here might just go for it.
I don't know. I don't think he. Like, I'm looking at his roster. I don't think he needs Michael
Thomas.
He
doesn't need him, but he wants him, I'm sure.
Does he?
Well, you have Kareem Hunt sitting on your bench. He's good. And you don't have to play Keenan Allen then.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm looking at his roster. His wide receiver core is fine.
But
Keenan Allen is your wide receiver 3 isn't
could
bad.
Be better.
With Michael Thomas as your wide
but
receiver 3.
But also I could make the same thing. It's like, well, if I just wait, I can put him back in the fold. And we already had his. I would say week 1 was his floor game.
I mean, that's really, like, I guess from your perspective, like, I'm trying to pull up your lineup here.
Because my running back situation
really,
is ass.
Like, James Robinson turned out to be a much better pickup than. I don't think he's not bad as your second running back. You just gotta help. You gotta pray Devonta Freeman doesn't sign with the Philadelphia Eagles, man. You see he's working out with them.
Not what I wanted to see. I played Boston Scott last week. And the Eagles just didn't run the ball. They just got sacked a lot.
They were bad last week. Their offense looked very, very unsteady. I don't know. It's tough to see what to do here. Like, I'd hate to. Latavius Murray also, my goodness, that dude. You see he had 15 carries. He out-carried Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara only was,
which was
effective
pretty cool
in the pass game.
But I guess anyway, back to MT. I don't know. So he's probably, yikes. I mean, he has that bye in week 6 and. Oh, man. So if they put him on IR, he's out 3 weeks, and then there's week 5. I don't know if you get a game in between here and the bye.
Which might be not, I don't know.
I
don't know.
I mean, it's fine. Your wide receiver core is
I mean,
okay.
That's my thinking here is I'm dealing from a position of strength. So if someone else is willing to see Michael Thomas, see the big name number 1 receiver in the draft, and say, okay, I'm willing to part with an asset. That's not going to play right away for something in return. I'm not.
Bro, fuck's on the tight end market. Fucking drop Austin Hooper right now.
I wish I would have done that yesterday before the game.
Pick up Hayden Hurst.
Dude, I almost did. Smith. I almost picked up. I was looking at both those guys, and I said, you know what? Nope. Week one was an aberration. And
no, Austin Hooper sucks.
Like Logan Thomas is even like halfway decently attractive. Eric Ebron, man.
Bro, I picked him up in my law league. I picked up Logan Thomas because Mike Gesicki is not cutting it for me.
I even had half of mine today to pick up Jimmy Graham after I'm not chasing those points after week 1.
No,
I'm not doing
don't
that.
pick up Jimmy Graham.
It crossed my mind, and I said, nope, I'm smarter than that.
There's so many other dudes on. Even Chris Herndon, man. Chris Herndon with Jamison Crowder being out.
Well, it's too late for this week, but
right. But for future, even you could drop him right now and pick up Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But
in any case,
Jesus.
Yeah, I want to talk. So that's Beans. That's Tenor League. I don't know. We'll see how this week goes. I'm hoping to squeak one out here against old Andrew Stroman because I don't think my dude's paying attention to the lineup. He's about to play Kenny Golladay for a second week in a row here. He's out. Cortland Sutton is questionable to play. And then, I just got to beat I got to beat Russell Wilson, Josh Jacobs, Melvin Gordon, Kenny Galladay's corpse, Cortland Sutton, who's a big Q for the game, going up against Pittsburgh, Evan Ingram against Chicago, Ronald Jones, Michael Gallup, and Tom Brady.
Oh,
so I just got to...
Yeah, I was just going to say, after watching
over
the
the
New
hump
Orleans
there.
Tampa game last week, I feel great about dropping Leonard Fournette.
I don't know. So Ronald Jones looked really good, and that's, I think, what a lot of these analysts are saying. It's like, I think Ronald Jones realizes that, like, this dude, he has to play 100% pristine perfect, otherwise he's losing his job immediately. And the way that they, like, used, like, LaShawn McCoy, and it was like, oh, what the fuck? What in the... It's like, this is some weird, like, aberration of, like, the Patriots offense with, like, their, like, small army of running backs. And it's like, I'm looking at this and it's like, yuck, what the fuck is this? Like, it's some, like, abomination. Like, I don't want to say, like, Ronald Jones is an abomination, because he played pretty well, actually, in week 1. But just, like, the idea of, like, Ronald Jones, and then, like, well, Ronald Jones missed a blitz pickup, like, see you later, to the bench with you. It's like me with my fantasy team. I have very little patience for people who don't perform, and I send them to the shadow realm immediately. That's what Bruce Arians in real life is probably going to do that and bench Ronald Jones for fucking Leonard Fournette in, like, the back end of the first quarter, and it's like, fuck. Then it's all messed up. And anyway, so I think that probably happens at some point in the season. At some point, I mean, Ronald Jones is just going to do something, and then it's going to be the Leonard Fournette show.
Ronald Jones
and that's not really the most
Ronald Jones
inspiring.
is the guy. Bruce Arians been saying all along, and I believe him, because that's the bet I've made.
That's what he said. Well, I mean, let's say that Leonard Fournette does become the guy. Like, I don't know. Like, he's fine, but, like, in Jacksonville, fuck, man. So that's something that I looked at, like, I was thinking about putting in a fab thing on Leonard Fournette, actually. But let me just pull up his fucking game log, because it's fucking nuts, dude. So 2019, here we are. Like, there's games here where this dude, like, right here against the Rams in week 4, my dude had 29 carries. 29 carries, 3 targets through the air. 23 carries, 20 carries, another 29 carries. In 29 carries, week 7 against Cincinnati, he still only put up 15 points. Two targets there, like 31 touches and 130 yards, and still only 15 points. Like, this dude was getting points and getting carries, but, like, holy shit, like, this dude needs, like, a target share that is, like, more than what he's going to get in Tampa Bay. Like, looking at the back end here, especially, like, some of these games where he's getting 15 carries, but 6 targets. 15 carries, 7 targets, 5 receptions. And in that game in particular, like, not 10, he didn't scratch 10 points, like 9.8 points there. So I don't know, like, I'm Ben for 30 fab bucks. I'm sure you could spend $30 in worse ways, but I don't think he's going to be the fantasy gold mine that people may think that he is. I think that, especially if he's splitting carries with Ronald Jones and LaShawn McCoy, like, I mean, neither Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette are going to be getting targets, because that's what LaShawn McCoy's role is. He's the James White of the offense. So, like, I don't know. But neither of these dudes look very good, and, like, frankly, I think, like, I would rather have, like, a person like James Robinson, honestly, over both of those dudes. Dude who's going to get the workhorse role and looked pretty good week 1, but, I mean, uncontested basically in the backfield.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on here. So that's the fantasy stuff. You want to get into just do a recap and what's your take on the actual just the in the real world the Packers game? It was good.
It was exciting. It was certainly not what I expected. I think everybody expected a classic NFC North Week 1 matchup. Like in my mind, it was like the stock game would have been like 13-17 or something like that. And so 43-34 was certainly not what anybody expected coming out of here. And I guess the biggest thing really was Aaron Rodgers showing up and showing out. Just like 4 touchdowns, 44 pass attempts, 364 yards. It was a vintage performance by the dude. And I mean, he didn't necessarily, spread the ball around a whole lot, but it was nice to see some shots to like Marquez Valdez-Scantling where it looked like Aaron Rodgers was taking shots that he certainly wasn't at the back end of last year. So there were things that looked very inspiring in this game, but I think more than anything it was pretty revealing like how shitty Minnesota's secondary was, how green they were going into this game because they just got torn the fuck up by Davante Adams, who went off for 156 yards, 2 touchdowns on a whopping 17 targets on the day. Just no sort of way to. I mean, that's kind of what you got to do is. There was nobody on the back end there that was going to stop Davante Adams no matter how hard they tried. So, I mean, go to the dude where it's working.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was a refreshing game to watch, and it was one that, there was all the talk here going, and I was fully bought into this that the Packers are going to regress this year. I mean, one game in, that looked like that was a performance worthy of a team that was 13-3 last year. So, I mean, that was cool to see that they kind of picked up. They look better. That was the only one game last year where they felt like you were in control for the most part. That Raiders game last year where they put up like 42 or something. But again, it was the same thing. We were texting during the game, and just in that first half when they were stalling out in the red zone, that was troubling. That reminded me of that Philadelphia game last year, and it's like, oh boy, we're still doing this again. But and after that, I mean, they torched him there in the second half. So. I think the Kenny Clark injury was a bigger deal is a big deal going in because he's out already for this, ruled out for the Detroit game coming up this week. Run game wasn't super effective. It was okay, not good, not great. What was the other thing? Oh yeah, run defense on the other end. I was worried at the beginning of that game, the way Dalvin Cook was kind of cutting up through that Packers defense, but. When the game script kind of flipped there and they started putting the ball in the end zone, that pretty much eliminated that threat. But that's still something I'm worried about long term here once they play. Not necessarily for Detroit, but when you run into San Francisco here later in the season, that's run defense early in that game wasn't inspiring. But I guess the last takeaway was just I was impressed with the offensive line because Aaron Rodgers wasn't touched the whole game. You had a kind of revolving door with Billy Turner not playing, and they had to shuffle some dudes around after who got hurt in that game. Rick Wagner get hurt, but they had John.
No, it was.
Oh yeah, Lane Taylor. Yeah,
Lane
he's
Taylor?
out for the season now. So they're down to putting rookie John Runyon in there. So after putting him in, they still looked fine and looked good and all. So hopefully once you get Billy Turner back. That continues, and you're able to continue that outstanding offensive line play.
Yeah, right. That was something I guess the biggest thing that I noticed as well. It was pretty evident. I think it was like where I noticed like the run defense really start to slip was immediately after Kenny Clark left the game. It seemed like there was, the commentators kept pointing it out, like, the linebackers were picking stuff up, but it was like, okay, if Kenny Clark would have been there, like, Dalvin Cook would have been stopped like 3 or 4 yards back. But So that was something that I paid attention to, and I mean, thankfully, it wasn't like a more gruesome injury. It sounds like it was just some sort of groin issue that he's going to be out. I think this next game he's out for as well. Just got to keep Adrian Peterson in check. That was wonky watching him run against the Chicago Bears, man, and just kind of tear him up. So it was kind of cool though to watch the. I don't know if you paid attention to Christian Kirksey at all, but I liked what I saw out of him, and then the undrafted free agent Chris Barnes, who was in on a couple of plays there. The inside linebacking position has been one that it's felt like the last 4 or 5 fucking years, like we just like haven't been solid at it really since really, it was like it goes all the way back to like the Packers experiment with Clay Matthews at inside linebacker that didn't work. Like we just like haven't had a stabilizing force at that position for quite some time, and so to see, like what commentators were talking about, it's like we miss the presence of Kenny Clark there, but there's that second wave where Christian Kirksey is picking up Dalvin Cook or. Chris Barnes, Ty Summers there. I didn't really pay attention to if Oren Burks was in there. But seeing this presence there, it was it was something that I hadn't seen in a little while. So I just hope that is something that continues here. To touch on your point about the running game, it was interesting to see how the Packers did operate with their running back core. It did feel very reminiscent of the 49ers and what they've been doing the last year, I guess, with their running back core, and even what they did in their week 1 game. Like, there are several different running backs who all operate sort of on a different MO. Seeing Tyler Ervin get those jet sweep plays was I liked that a lot. I liked seeing Tyler Ervin. I thought he was going to get more involved, but it was kind of just those couple of little gadget plays that he was in on. But Jamal Williams, coming in for the few things that he did, operating as I guess just an alternative. I don't really want to label him as a bruiser because I don't think he's really that much bigger than Aaron Jones, but he's still a pretty quality pass catcher, and I think it's kind of cool that he plays this weird hybrid role that he's not quite as quick and shifty and talented as Aaron Jones, but he still operates sort of in these different packages where he can still be used as a receiver. I think he's still pretty talented in that regard. And then, A.J. Dillon, I don't know what to really take away from that. It didn't really seem like the Packers used him as people I think were expecting, this big burly man to be used on the goal line, but he really wasn't. So that is something that, I didn't necessarily expect it because Aaron Jones was one of the most effective and efficient running backs at the goal line last year. Namely, he was talked about a lot in fantasy circles because he had like 10 fucking touchdowns last year. So that was something that was talked about all the time. And I don't think it was totally by mistake. I think he's a quality running back. So I don't know. A.J. Dillon might get used at the goal line, but Aaron Jones is no joke in goal line packages.
You touched on all those guys. A.J. Dillon on one of those carries, he kind of got loose and ran a guy over, and that was like, yes, this is what I've been waiting all offseason for. But yeah, it's the way they distributed carries in the run game. I think Matt LaFleur, this is perfect. This is pretty much damn near how you would want it. 16 carries for Aaron Jones, perfect. Right in that 15 to 20 range. Not too many. Not going to wear him out here early in September. Tyler Ervin, 3 carries, also a reception. I think that's probably on a pop pass. So 3 to 5 touches for Tyler Ervin, perfect. That's all he needs. 7 carries for Jamal Williams. In relief of Aaron Jones, perfect. If you want to give A.J. Dillon a little more than 2 carries, that's fine by me. But 2 to somewhere around 5 carries. That's distributing the carries that way. That's pretty much perfect in terms of player usage in my mind here.
Yeah, totally. I mean, looking at the distribution and yeah, 16 carries for Aaron Jones, like you said, perfect, and 4 receptions. Like that's pretty much right up there in the 20 touch range is I think where I feel very comfortable with Aaron Jones' usage. I know that the fucking Mike McCarthy days of splitting the touches between him and Jamal Williams was a point of aggravation with a lot of Packers fans. But this distribution is one that is much more palatable. And so I'm not sure what we'll see moving forward because this Detroit Lions game, we their secondary very well, maybe even worse than Minnesota's, just due to injury. So I like they're missing their top 3 corners now. I think because I think Jeff Okudah might also not play. He didn't play week 1. He might be out for week 2 as well. So it might just be another Aaron Rodgers hucks the ball a billion times game. We'll see, but it'll be interesting to see. I guess the point that I'm most interested to see is to see how this wide receiver core target share works out again. I imagine Devontae Adams will be another. It seems like he's bound to have another monster game, but I am interested to see the involvement from MVS and Allen Lazard. See what their roles are kind of shaping up to be. It seemed like they were pretty reliable. MVS going for almost nearly 100 yards in this game. I know this one kind of got out of hand very quickly, but interested to see who between MVS and Allen Lazard is the guy there.
Yeah, they both scored. But yeah, how about that for a welcome to the NFL game? Hey, Jeff Okudah, you're going to get out there. Here's Devontae Adams. First game, no preseason.
Right.
Just
yikes.
get after it. Yeah, I mean, Josiah DeGuara didn't get used a ton on the offense, had 1 catch, but I mean, he threw a nasty block on, I think it might have been one of the Tyler Irvin jet sweep plays, or it might have been the Allen Lazard one on the pop pass, but he had a jet sweep in there too. But one of those plays was getting outside. He cut one Vikings defender into another defender, so he took out 2 guys with 1 block. I don't know if you caught that, but I was like, "Ooh, that's whoever that 81 guy is. That was pretty nice. That's pretty yeah, right.
Thanks, Geronimo.
That's pretty efficient block there. 2 for 1 deal. So I know he's injured here, but I don't know if he's playing or not. But he's working on a shin injury this week. But he's a guy just to keep an eye on here. That we'll see how he figures in the offense as things progress here as he gets his feet wet. But yeah. I mean, that's a nice segue. You're talking about Aaron. Is this going to be another aired out game for your Packers offense here? I'm working on my DFS lineup for this week, and I was like, man, I think I got to play Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah,
I probably would. Lions are bad, dude. They're fucking terrible. I was bopping in because I put on in the TV in here for Isabel. She wanted to watch the Bears game, and so every now and then I'd go in and watch a little bit of it. And yeah, holy shit, that game was. I mean, like the drop pass in the end zone by DeAndre Swift was like the most fucking Lions thing that could have ever happened. But like the game itself, it was like Jesus Christ, like. It's like neither of these teams want to win this fucking game.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. So
yeah, I trust Aaron Rodgers.
See,
I mean, Mitch Trubisky, he threw 3 touchdowns. It was good, at least from a fantasy perspective. I didn't watch a ton of it, but I mean, he was good week 1. So if you're gonna make Mitchell Trubisky look good, if you extrapolate that for Aaron Rodgers, should be pretty much a repeat of what we saw this past weekend in week 1. You would think, but I guess what's your? Let me read off this this DFS lineup for you that I'm thinking about right now. So Aaron Rodgers, J.K. Dobbins, and James Robinson. So I'm saving money at running back. I'm going heavy at receiver with Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, Robert Woods, Dalton Schultz, tight end for the Cowboys with no Blake Jarwin. Alan Lazard is my cost-saving flex in Buccaneers defense against Carolina. Like 4,500.
How much is Alan Lazard? I like Deontay Johnson at 4,500, a little more than him.
Johnson. Oh, I lied. He's 5,300.
I like Deontay Johnson at 4,500.
I can get him on board.
Alan
With
Lazard
that.
at 5,300. Yeah. Deontay Johnson had a huge target share. He had 36%, which is nuts. He looked good out there. He looked like he was Antonio. He was the walk-in replacement for AB in that.
No. I'm not chasing those points
against the Chargers. Not really. So I just listened to the Fantasy Pros DFS thing with Pat Mayo right before this actually. So I have some names in my head here. They had so let me pull this up. Well, first of all, I think chalk for running back is Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor.
Oh.
Jonathan Taylor at 5,700
plug him in.
is the play, I think. And then moving around here, Devontae Adams, at 8,100, I think is the play also. At middle tier wide receiver for me, so I'm in this tournament, so I think I'm trying to. There's three dudes here at the 6,400 range here. Mike Evans, if Chris Godwin doesn't suit up, which it doesn't look like he's going to, he's 6,400 against Carolina that has a battered defense. But also in the same exact range is, your boy Robert Woods against Philadelphia. But we have DJ Moore against Tampa Bay. And Amari Cooper against Atlanta at 63.
Boy, you could really play all four of those and feel pretty good.
Yeah, I think, all those dudes are kind of in contention there. But anyway, at tight end, I think I like
Dalton Schultz.
Who was your dude? He fucking back.
Oh, he's priced at
What is he?
$3,700.
What is he priced at? I like Logan Thomas at 36. Yeah. Had 8 targets. Week 1. He's going up against Arizona here. Some other names here though. At running back, let's see
gave me
here.
Jonathan Taylor, and then
I think JT is the dude. Miles Sanders is also 6,000.
I got James James Robinson at 4,300. I like that. Tennessee.
Who does he play?
Not a great matchup, but just for volume.
Tennessee. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
What do you think about
scroll up from these
CeeDee Lamb for
4,400 dudes?
$4,700 as a flex player?
They did talk about the Cowboys game quite a bit. The Cowboys stack could be. I think they're talking about it more in terms of tournament play, but they were targeting that Dallas-Atlanta game quite a bit for tourneys like Dak plus Amari or Dak plus Michael Gallup. I don't know about what is CeeDee Lamb priced at?
He was productive week 1. Wasn't great, but he had 6 targets, 5 receptions for 59 yards. He was in the game.
I think he's a dart throw. You could go for it. I suppose.
Adrian Peterson, 47. I got $4,700 to fill out my flex spot. Yes.
Your flex.
Aaron Rodgers,
47.
Jonathan Taylor, James
Who's the rest of your
Robinson,
lineup?
Adam Thielen, Robert Woods, 72.
What is Adam Thielen priced at?
I really like what I saw out of him last week. Without
Adam
Stephon Diggs, he is the only real receiving option.
Against Indianapolis. Interesting. I don't know, sure. 7,200. I don't know. The Minnesota passing, what we got out of them, I don't know if they're going to put up 34 points on Indianapolis. I don't know.
It probably won't be 34
I just don't know if it'll be a
points,
high-scoring game.
Who else is Kirk Cousins throwing to? Dalvin Cook.
Nobody.
Kyle Rudolph, not really. I don't know.
I don't think Kirk Cousins is
does,
throwing. I think that's the thing.
He's hitting old BC Johnson. That's his first look.
Chad Beebe.
Oh yeah,
Justin Jefferson. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't.
I'm doing it.
I don't know. Sure. I agree with you. He got a huge target share. I'm just looking at these other receivers around here.
Coming out of Chicago this week with him potentially requesting a trade, thinking about it.
I like him against the Giants a lot. I think that he's gonna tear him up.
Yeah, you saw
probably.
What Juju did on Monday.
They
attractive.
Yeah. I think Allen Robinson's pretty good there at 64. Really, these dudes in the 64, these dudes at 64, 63 are I think the dudes to really get after here. I think Juju is interesting because I think Denver, who's out? Somebody's out there. They have a backup playing in the slot. And that was the interesting play there, I think. Denver. Yeah, somebody is out there. So they're putting Bryce Callahan outside, and he's a slot cornerback. So then Michael Ojemudia, rookie, is a rookie. And anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Yes. I'm sure Adam Thielen is fine. Anyway. So let's. So flex, you're looking for 47. Well, actually, sorry. Can you go through who after Adam Thielen?
Dalton Schultz, value play at tight end.
Dalton Schultz.
Plus 4,700 bucks.
4,700.
Boy, do I want to get Peyton Barber.
$3,700 here.
Buccaneers. It's Carolina.
Who do you have at defense? Oh, bro. Pay down.
That's as far down as I want to go.
You don't like Chargers at 2,000? Okay, that's actually... So this is something that I wanted to talk to you... So this is something that I wanted to talk about because this is what... on the podcast was an interesting, probably the most interesting thing on it. So him and Jake Seeley is they do defense analysis, and when they were breaking down a lot of the betting stuff and when they were statting out stuff here for defenses, he was so basically we take all this stuff, and at the end of the day, basically what our philosophy is for targeting defenses in DFS and betting and things like this is we actually we don't look at good defensive matchups. So what you're saying, Buccaneers against Panthers, yes, I think that's a good matchup for the Bucs. I think that's a solid play, but the defenses you want to target are the defenses where you're going into games that are typically going to be higher scoring games, where on the contingency that you're playing a game where the defensive line does tend to overmatch the offensive line play. So going up against somebody with a poor offense. So I think the games specifically that they were talking about were, let me pull this up here. It was, I know it's Philadelphia, but I forgot who they play. Philadelphia against the Rams.
The Bills.
Who plays the Bills? Miami, Buffalo.
So wait.
And then I forgot the last one that they did. It was not Chargers. But what they were saying was he basically used the example of Washington in week 1. The game wasn't necessarily a clean game, but Washington put up like 14 fantasy points just because they got to the quarterback so frequently. And the game script kind of just dictated that the quarterback was trying to get out there and make plays, but the defensive line was there to kind of encroach on his space. So they were like, you're still shooting in the dark, and you're basically gambling on game script in order to dictate these kinds of things. But I mean, these are the games where defenses will score you points, not necessarily games where like the Pittsburgh game. Pittsburgh defense played very well, but they scored all of 4 points against the Giants.
Yeah, I still don't like the Chargers defense against Kansas City.
No, he did not. The Chargers defense was not a part of that equation. It was not. Yeah. So basically, the rationale there was, the Miami defense against a quarterback like Josh Allen. Basically, all you really have to hope for, they're targeting a defense that's $2,100. You don't need them to score very many points in order for them to hit value at that price point. So with a quarterback like Josh Allen, who, like last week we saw, he just, he did what he did in the playoffs, where he just didn't want to hang on to the ball, wanted to, dribble it like a basketball, and just kind of lost it. That's all you really need. You just need, a defense that their defensive line matches up well to the Bills' offensive line. So all you need them to do while they're under duress in this, game script driven, philosophy is you just need them to make Josh Allen a little agitated, make sure that he, drops the ball once or twice and he gets sacked once or twice, and you're hitting value there with that cheap defense.
Yeah, no, I get it. So let's just say I plug the Dolphins in, and then what does that do for me? I'm up to $5,500. What does that do for me at the flex spot then? What kind of doors does that open? Oh, I can get Alshon Jeffrey or Jameson Crowder, who are both not playing. Mark Ingram, I am not interested in. I'm not interested in Alan Lazard. Shepard, nah. Evan Ingram,
Nyheim Hines.
Anthony Miller, J.K. Dobbins, Dallas Goedert. CeeDee Lamb.
Who are you looking at first at 4,700? CeeDee Lamb. I mean, I like Nyheim Hines more than the CeeDee Lamb play.
I'm already playing Jonathan Taylor. Yeah.
I mean, they both played week 1. I don't know, man. Nyheim Hines looked good out there. He's solid.
I'll roll the dice. I don't know. I never heard of him before last week.
What you got against Nyheim Hines?
No, I'm not.
My dude exploded on the scene, though.
I'm not doing it. Oh, what about Cowboys?
All right, my
defense?
dude. Well, Anthony Miller, they're at 52.
They look good against the Rams. Alden Smith is playing like vintage Alden Smith out there. It's a pass rusher. Get a turnover or two from Matt Ryan out of that offense. Yeah, I could.
Yeah, he's a man's man.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. All right. So that opens up a couple. So that
Matt
opens up
Ryan
an
is a
extra
crazy
$200
man.
flex
I don't
spot,
want to
which
go
gives
up
you
against
right
him.
back to Sammy Watkins. I'll chase him now at that. Yeah,
Chase
I want
those
some of
points,
that
Sam.
KC
You gonna
action.
chase the dragon there.
I want market. I want exposure
Oh,
to
man.
the Chiefs offense. All right, I'm probably gonna change this like 10 times before Sunday.
Oh
but
man.
I'm locking in those lyrics, fam. For now.
Oh, that's locked in for now. Yeah, I don't know. Sammy Watkins, man, I want him to keep doing what he's doing with the Chiefs, but oh my goodness. It's like last year all over again. It's exploded week 1 and then
Yeah.
silence and then playoff Sammy.
Yeah, that's a dart throw. But
Well, we'll see how it shakes out. Mr. DFS Optimizer.
yep.
Plug in some dudes and let it rip. I wanted to ask you here. So for my law school fantasy lineup, I like this team much better than any of the other teams that I have rostered right now.
Okay. Give it to
Just
me.
based off of week 1 performance solely. I crushed it week 1 here. All right, so we have Matt Ryan, Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
Man.
Chris Carson, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore. Now we have Logan Thomas instead of Mike Gesicki. Younghoe Koo, Philadelphia Eagles defense. On the bench here, I got Gardner Minshew, Latavius Murray, Alexander Madison,
Yeah, I
Cam
like that a
Akers,
lot.
and Anthony Miller. Yeah, I'm hoping that one of these dudes between Latavius, Alexander Madison, and Cam Akers kind of blossoms into something. So this is a 14-team league, I should say that too. So the pickings on the waiver wire are slim at best for most of these positions. So mostly I picked up Logan Thomas because Mike Gesicki had no competition week 1, and my dude still put up just a fucking dud. And watching that Miami Dolphins team, it was like, yes. I remember now why Ryan Fitzpatrick has been around the block here in terms of teams. I nearly forgot. And so, I don't know. They'll be okay, I'm sure. But it was uninspiring at best to see, like, Devontae Parker wasn't really in. And Mike Gesicki still, I mean, he was targeted only 5 times and caught 3 passes for like 20 yards or something just paltry. So Logan Thomas, on the other hand, I don't like the idea of rostering 2 skill position players from Washington, but Terry McLaurin is a baller, and Logan Thomas got 8 targets and a touchdown week 1. So I think those are the dudes that are getting targeted there. In the Washington offense, probably the only dudes that are getting targeted at all the entire year. But tight end is definitely something that's like, fuck, man. This is going to be one of these positions, huh? On the waiver wire, there's Chris Herndon is sitting there. Eric Ebron, Jimmy Graham, OJ Howard. Like, those are the top dudes right now.
No.
And it's like, oh, boy. But I think so. I'm trying to do what I don't do, or I'm trying to do the opposite of what I usually do in these fantasy leagues. Like in a lot of these leagues, I'm paying attention very closely to a lot of this stuff, and it doesn't force me, but I have a tendency to move quicker than I should on a lot of these, like the news notes and the stuff. So I'm trying to stay very. I replaced Mike Gesicki already, but aside from that, that was more of like just a matchup thing. Mike Gesicki plays New England, which I don't like very much. But aside from that, I'm trying to stick with this lineup for as long as possible to try to, I guess, get through the storms on a couple of these players. Like DJ Moore had a very bad week 1. You were mentioning Chris Carson, so this is actually what I was going to get to. This week, I tried to trade Chris Carson right after his pretty explosive week 1 performance from a stat perspective, but 6 carry game. I tried to immediately trade him for Jonathan Taylor. That did not work. The dude, like, he must have not seen it, and then the announcement came out about JT being the lead back. And so it was like, fuck, well, jig is up there. Can't make this go. But I was looking at some of these other dudes, and it was like, fuck. You think I could trade Chris Carson for Austin Eckler?
Do that. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we already talked about that. That the way Carlos Hyde was involved, I want nothing to do with Chris Carson anymore.
I was looking at that. It's definitely a point of concern at the RB2 position here, just because, right, like you want a dude that is carrying the ball and not a dude who's not carrying the ball. But I mean, it's tough just because I'm looking at this and it's like, man, Chris Carson, like, I think last year was like one of the most underrated running backs, and just like, I mean, put up solid numbers on the ground, and was one of those dudes that, I mean, coming out of the back end of 2018 through the entire basically the entire 2019 season, and now starting off hot in the 2020 season, like, fuck. It's like, I kind of want to trade him away, but part of me is like, I think this is the you know, paying attention to the news notes guy in me that's like, oh, get rid of this fucker. And then I'll trade him, and it's like, oh, Chris Carson, week 2 has 20 carries, 25 points here. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So, anyway. I'm looking at that right now, but this league is the league where I think I'm trying to throw all my chips in here, and so this is a $20 league. So where this is more than the Beans League. This is exactly $20 more. But man, there's some dudes in here that, you know, I'm trying to think here. Looking at some of these dudes. This is something that in so this is tangential to this, but in my law school class, there's been, since we've shifted online, there's been a plethora of students who like to raise their hands in class and derail the conversation with hypotheticals regarding legal theory. Like, we were like, fuck, man, I've never heard so many like different notions about like trains and like, you know, well, you know, what if they built a bridge to Narnia? Would that breach the contract? And I was, looking at this league. I was trying to see if there was any dudes like that in here, and I think there's not. So maybe I thought there were, but in any case, there is the dude that I was talking to you about, who was like overreacting to all it was the dude who was talking shit about Clyde Edwards-Helaire in week 1. It was like, oh my goodness, what a cheerful attitude we have here. Anyway,
well, that's good. Yeah,
excited about this league. So I'm trying to say,
lineup, and I don't know. That's cool. That helps. I'm 2-0 in both 1-0 in both leagues, I should say, for the Dynasty and Beans one. So that makes me. I don't think I was 1-0 in any leagues the last couple of years. So off to a decent start.
Happy camper.
Yeah, swapping some fab.
I liked our trade in the Beans League.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah. I didn't even realize you could do that, actually. It came up, I was on the trade screen or something for some reason, and I I saw this and it was like, oh man, okay,
Now we're
you
talking.
can trade money. It's like, yeah, kinda. I mean, it was like, I don't know what you'd possibly like use this for at some point, like down the line. Like, I don't know, like Fab. I think at some point just becomes kind of useless in terms of like who are you picking up at week 14 here? Who's the pickup? Um, uh, but
Right.
in the Dynasty
Sorry,
League, it's a
Gus.
little bit more attractive, just from a, you can pick up and yeah, right. I mean, you can kind of pick up and stash a dude. I think
Now.
the Fab resets every year, but the idea that you can like pick up a dude and like at least you can like, all right, yeah, I'll take a shot on this guy and carry him over to next year. But anyway,
Yeah.
well,
What else
that's
we got?
that's
Survivor
fantasy,
pool.
baby.
Oh, who'd you end up picking?
Oh, I realized that
Oh,
I
nice.
didn't pick the
call.
Eagles. That's what I was gonna say. I picked the Steelers. Yeah, good on me.
Yeah, man. I think I meant.
I think this week I picked the
I have
Niners.
Baltimore. I have Baltimore right now, but I'm going to switch that to the 49ers. Although PMT today kind of scared me. Yeah, it's a West Coast team going east, playing at noon. I mean, I picked against the Jets week 1. I said I'm not going to do that. Just find a shitty team and pick against them no matter what. But I don't know. It's the Niners, man. They played a scrappy Cardinals team. Yeah, Niners. We'll save Baltimore when they play Cincinnati or something.
Yeah, I briefly looked at some like fantasy pros / betting pros, survivor pool, pick'em contest strat things, and I mean they were basically the gist that I took away from it was like it was a low value pick to use the pick on the 49ers this week, but I looked at it for exactly 5 seconds and it was like, you know what, Connor, I don't think this is where we need to be spending our time. I think that pick'em contest, it's like it was starting to read into stuff about like like pick'em contest is very much more like betting.
It's a different game.
Not really like it really is like just playing slots at that point.
That's why I like
we're
on
just
on
hoping
DraftKings they have some of those
some of
tools
these
that you
dudes
can
come
like,
out
pick
on
against the
top.
spread. If you get them all right, then you win $100,000. Well, sure, for $0 entry fee, sure. I'll this one. Give me this team. All right, done. Roll the dice and see if I get a Yahtzee. Just in case.
Yahtzee.
Yeah, if you go in the lobby and then if you're in the app, you go to
I didn't know you could do that actually.
there's the lobby and scroll all the way to the bottom. There's free pools and Survivor. Free pools one. I don't know if I sent you the election one. All you got to do is pick the winner of like 12 swing states in the election coming up.
Oh. Interesting. I'll definitely check this out. There's more in
Yeah, free Bacardi Spice
more in
10K
DraftKings than I
World
thought.
Football Pick'em.
Interesting.
So here's my okay. I'll tell you what I got here. Week 2 versus the
Oh.
let's see, edit entry. I'll tell you who I have for my picks versus the spread here. I got let's edit this. I have Jaguars plus 10.5, Bears minus 5.5, Packers minus 6.5, Buccaneers minus 7.5. You go under you in the lobby and then scroll
Wait,
down to the
what is it
bottom,
under
free
again?
pools.
I'm sorry.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
Like they have
Oh.
horse racing in here too, or some other some like
Free
softball
pools.
maybe. Yeah. Did you get in? And there's a Survivor in here too,
And it's the
then there's
Pro Football Pick'em.
I don't know. There's some other ones. Yes.
Wait, are you in the Bacardi spiced one? Okay.
$10,000 prize.
Let me get in there.
Yeah, give me Jacksonville.
Jacksonville
I think they'll at least
plus
cover.
10.5. Really?
10
You
and a
think
half, that's a lot
so?
of points.
Bro, I'm taking Tennessee.
I don't know, man. All right,
Yeah, bro. They're
Bears
gonna run
minus
straight down
favored by 5.5
Jacksonville's
against the
throat.
Giants. What do you like there? I like the Bears.
Shit.
Yeah, you want to pick the
Oh
Giants
man, I don't want to
instead.
pick the
No.
Bears, but New York, I don't know. Shit, this is such a bad. It's so hard because the Giants played Pittsburgh. They looked so bad, but Pittsburgh's defense is a real
Pick the
deal.
Giants, man. Do it.
Darius Slayton was a man's man.
Giants plus 5.5. All right, Packers Lions. Packers.
Do it. I'll pick the fucking
Packers gonna
Giants.
torch them. All right, Carolina at Tampa. I have Tampa
Packers.
minus 7.5. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be better than they looked week 1. Guarantee it.
Boy,
Don't care. They're going to be better.
no Chris Godwin.
All right.
All right, you've convinced
Give me
me.
Buffalo here.
Tampa Bay. All
Minus
right,
5.5. Yeah, no problem.
Buffalo, Miami.
Give me
Buffalo.
Jets.
Yep.
Give me the Niners. Jesus.
San Francisco, New York
I
Jets.
see. This line's odd. Minus 6.5. I know the Niners.
Yeah,
went on
Jets
a
are
road
bad.
here, but Christ, Jacksonville after coming after a win over Indianapolis is only 10.5 point spread. They're only given you got the Niners playing the Jets who look terrible. Only 6.5 points. That seems low.
Seems very low.
Don't care.
But no George Kittle. Their receiving core is completely decimated.
Adam Gase. What do you think?
All right. Yes, Niners.
I like the Rams here. Los Angeles at Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Ooh.
1.5 home. 1.5 point favorites, but the Eagles. Give me the Rams on the road. Yeah. I mean, Atlanta at.
Yeah, I'll take
I
them.
like Dallas at home. 5.5.
All right.
Getting
Atlanta,
5.5.
Dallas.
Give me the Cowboys. They
What
lost
did
to the
Atlanta
Seahawks.
do last week?
It's a one-score game.
Atlanta. I know they lost, but what was the? That's I think what I'm afraid of is like they weren't in the game the entire
man,
time,
Leash
but they
Younghoe
just
Koo.
threw
Yeah,
fucking
outside kickmaster.
like 60 times. Yeah, Okay, so they lost
Dallas
38
got
to
this game.
25. Fuck.
Don't overthink it. There's so little at stake.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
give me Dallas, I guess.
Yeah, give me
All
Pittsburgh
right.
at home. 6.5
right.
points. That'll be fine.
Pittsburgh, Denver. Six and a half, man. That is the same spread for San Francisco, New York.
No. Why would they start now?
You don't think Denver's gonna put up points?
They're gonna put up. So they couldn't. They only
You're
put
right.
up 14
You're
against
right. You're
Tennessee,
so
but
right.
Why would they put up more
Pittsburgh.
against Pittsburgh?
All right. You're right. You're correct.
I like the Vikings here. 3.5 point road dogs.
All
Give me
right.
the Vikings.
Minnesota, Indianapolis. Dogs.
Washington
I
scrappy
like them
week
too.
1, getting that win.
Arizona, Washington.
I don't know. I like Washington here. I don't know if they're.
I think
they'll
the
win,
Eagles
but
were pretty
6.5,
out of
they might
sync.
make-
I
that defense
don't
might
like
make it
Washington
close.
here.
Keep it
I
close.
think that. I don't think so. I think their front seven is good, but their cornerbacks are dog shit, and I mean that's really what matters against the Cardinals here. DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald,
all right.
Kenny Drake. I like Cardinals here. I think I don't think there's anything on the back end there. I think that that pass rush is going to be tricky for Kyler Murray, but I think their offense is just predicated on a thing that's bound to beat this Washington team into the dust.
No, I'm kidding. But well, maybe. Baltimore at Houston. Yeah, Baltimore at Houston here. Yeah, Baltimore. Don't overthink
But
that one.
unless
6.5 points, fine. Yeah, same thing. I'm not overthinking this one. Give me Kansas City minus 8.5, big spread.
Kansas
but
City,
it's fine.
LA.
I like New England here.
New England,
Plus
Seattle.
4.5. Give me New England on the road with Cam Newton.
Do ya? Cam Newton as
Josh
the
McDaniels is
leading
doing there. I
rusher
don't
for
like
the
New
game
England.
there was interesting. I 21-11 against the Dolphins.
Yes.
Can they stop Russell Wilson after that monster week one?
I'm going to say yes.
I don't know. I'm going to go with
There we
Seattle,
go.
I think. Submit.
Oh, here we go. Here's another
Hell
pool.
yeah,
They
dude.
have a
Well,
free $500 pool, Wild Weather
That was
Wednesday.
fun.
So this is just picking under-overs on weather. So what will the highest temperature in Austin, Texas be on Thursday, September 24th?
Well,
Over 86.5 or under 86.5? And it's just like, Jesus. It's like 15 of them for a bunch of different cities. All right, give me the over, under, over. I'm not even looking at the city names.
interesting.
We're just going to fill it out. That'll never work, right? It's just so crazy it might work. All right, what else we got to talk about? Anything?
Correct.
It was just fun to sit down and watch
I
football.
think that'll just about do it.
time
man.
and have to do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we didn't really discuss that whole notion. Just like the idea of having like a weekend of football was something that I think I certainly missed, and something that
positive COVID
it
tests this week
allowed
that have been
me to
reported.
think that the weekend was fairly normal.
That's good.
It's still weird on right, which is good news. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really haven't been paying a whole lot of attention to like the NBA playoffs. Have been like tangentially paying attention to what's going on. I know that the Clippers were eliminated, and I know that Boston is heating up here against the Heat. But it was something like having football was it was a sense of normalcy, I should say. In the crazy times that we're living in, like things getting canceled and shifting online,
yeah.
and blah blah blah, and now the announcement of the Big Ten coming back, I don't know what to make of that. I don't think it's the best idea that we could have made, but it seems that money is
Did the
talking
schedule come out?
at this point.
I saw something on Reddit. I don't
so-
think it's true.
I
That the crossover games for the Badgers was going to be Maryland and Rutgers.
don't think so.
That would be pencil in 8-0 and book your
That'd be
book your
incredible.
virtual ticket to Indianapolis.
Right, that's the thing. It's like I don't know. I just don't know what to make of this. Like I haven't watched any college football at all. Like I turned on the Wake Forest Clemson game for about 2 minutes, and I was like, "What the fuck am I even doing?"
Trash.
Like,
Not interesting. Oh, you know what you should do? Look up like the week. I don't know. When was week 0 or week 1? Look up the highlights from BYU at Navy. 'Cause that game was hilarious to watch because BYU just crushed them. Because Navy did no live tackling during camp. So they got, like, it was staggering. It was like watching high school football where just like one team great and BYU was just running the ball downhill, and the offensive line is 6 yards downfield. before the back even hits the hole. Just crushing. And Navy's usually good.
Shit.
Nope, not right off the bat. Lost 55-0, but the highlights are just hilarious. Just to watch
Not
BYU
this week.
just run over Navy.
My goodness. Just looking at this box score. 14 points in the first quarter, 17 points in the second quarter, and then Navy scored a field goal in the third quarter. Oh, shit. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, there's already, what is it, Houston? Yeah, that game was postponed already. After some COVID stuff popped up. Apparently, Wisconsin has had a surge in positive COVID reports coming out of their football team, which isn't surprising at all because UW-Madison in general is just a total, absolute hellhole in terms of COVID testing. Just in terms of relative performance to other Big Ten universities, Wisconsin is doing especially bad.
It was, I don't know, I guess not funny, but funny just to look at the Wisconsin Department of Health Services COVID webpage and just look at, okay, Dane County, what's going on there? And it's up and then down, and then school starts and it's all-time highs. Oh, no. So.
Whoa. Yeah, it was wild because it spread to the community, obviously because it spiked so hard. And so the quote-unquote quarantine is supposed to be reevaluated at the end of this coming week. I don't really see how that works out. But we'll see. I don't know. It just seems pretty improbable to tread the line that we're at. I think the cases are going down, but they literally had to shut down dorms, 2 of the dorms, and shift everything online. And I don't know. It'd be cool if they shut down online, or they kept undergrad stuff online and shifted my classes to in person.
Well, here we go. We got
that would be cool.
Slate tomorrow,
but
marquee matchup: Miami at Louisville. Prime time on ABC. Other than that, I have no interest in any of these games. I don't think I need to sit down and watch Wake Forest, NC State, or Abilene Christian at UTEP.
Yeah, me either.
The Citadel at Clemson pass.
No. Nope. Oh, nice. Good old Citadel. I always like to see them on the slate. Last thing I'll say before we close here, I just got a note. Los Angeles gave Robert Woods an extension. I didn't see that before.
He's gonna have a big game.
4-year, $65 million extension. Yeah, that's right. The money game.
That.
Yeah, I don't know. He's very clearly the number one dude in that offense. So I don't know. It makes sense to me.
Brandon Cooks on that team anymore. It's very clearly it's Robert Woods. It's also Cooper Kupp. And who's the rookie they got? Yeah, I don't know about him yet, but
Van Jefferson. I think he's gonna develop. I mean, he's just a rookie, so the Rams I think drafted him to be that Brandon Cooks replacement at some point, and he quickly overtook Josh Reynolds, so that's promising. But what stood out to me is I think the Rams really are trying to ground and pound the ball much more. Yeah, that the approach that they took. It wasn't surprising at all. We were seeing it last year, running an overwhelming number of 12 personnel sets, but got a lot of carry. I think Malcolm Brown had 19 carries, and then Cam Akers had 14 carries right behind him. That Darrell Williams or Henderson, he had a few carries as well, and so that was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're getting back to old school Rams offense. You know, Todd Gurley here, MVP.
Leaning on the running game to set up.
No, not that, but like just giving the running backs the ball.
It's going to help protect any shortcomings that Jared Goff has as a passer. Which kind of.
That's the thing, man. I think that's the whole they figured it out. Jared Goff sucks.
This is what we were talking about last week. Where, was that last week? I don't remember when that was, but do you want to have to lean on him? No. If you surround yourself with an offensive system that clearly works for the Rams, that is built on predicated on the run, establishing that and then working play passes off of that, Jared Goff is perfectly adequate to execute. Yes. But, like where Deshaun Watson is capable of playing
the
hero
Jimmy
ball,
G role.
Aaron Rodgers can play hero ball.
Game manager.
Probably Lamar Jackson. That's probably not a reach to say him. Tom Brady, Drew Brees. Pat Mahomes, absolutely. Like those guys, yeah, you can lean on them. They can play hero ball and get it done, usually. Or give you a chance. Just about anybody else, I don't know yet. Kyler Murray might get in that conversation at some point, but yeah, Russell Wilson, yes. Maybe Ben Roethlisberger at one point. I wouldn't necessarily say that now, but
basically the upper echelon of quarterbacks. At one point, right? Yeah, yes. In vintage Ben and Phillip Rivers. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Good for you. Get that money.
We'll see what happens, what shakes out. But Robert Woods, man. Yeah, get that money. And I'm glad that it was like I felt like we talked about Robert Woods like a shit ton, and so it was like good to see Robert Woods getting vindicated on the stat sheet. But anyway, all right, I think we can wrap it up here. Excited for another week of football. We'll come back with you with some more fantasy updates, some more recap of the Packers.